Miami Hurricanes fans have been waiting 23 years to get back to a football game this big, but Indiana Hoosiers fans have been waiting forever.
You are Locked On Canes, your daily podcast on the Miami Hurricanes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I am Alex Donno, University of Miami alumnus, co-host of Locked On ACC and host of Postgame on the Hurricanes radio network. And thank you so much to the everydayers for making Locked On Canes your first listen. We're available free wherever you get your podcasts. We're free on YouTube. We're part of the #1 Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We're going to talk matchups and prediction, and I'm going to get perspective from a very special Indiana grad. Listen, I'm obviously a Miami guy, and I've been waiting a long time to get back into a national championship game, but it's not lost on me what a big story this is for the Hoosiers, because a couple of years ago, their football team was, I'm going to say it, irrelevant, losingest program of all time. They are no longer that, thanks to what Curt Cignetti has done. And how about this? This is a little reunion of sorts. Very good friend of mine, my former radio partner. You remember him, you know him, you love him. Josh Friedman, a.k.a. Frito, is with us. And Frito, of course, anybody who listened to you and us on the radio remembers you are a proud Indiana Hoosier. You must be feeling extra proud this week.
It's stunning. I mean, as you said, going into the Cignetti years, they had lost more college football games than any team in history. They've been eclipsed now by Northwestern. But that aside, now they're the second losingest team. But what he's done is, I mean, think about it. It's just remarkable. And Alex, I've been seeing all these people just rip the hell out of Indiana and how they got in and that what they're doing is so wrong. And, well, if it was so easy, everybody would do it. He's not bending the rules. It's remarkable what he's done and all the people he imported. And he came in, he imported a bunch of James Madison kids. A lot of IU players left. He said, you know what? They're doing me a favor. And then the second year he brought in, some guy, what's his name? Mendoza, I think is his name. Pretty good. I heard, by the way, that UM offered him more NIL money, and he chose to go to Indiana because his brother is his backup there.
Yeah, Alberto. Yeah, it was a nice reunion. And also, Miami wasn't the only one, but they didn't recruit him that hard when he was coming out of high school because nobody knew he would be this good. I mean, Mendoza was originally going to go to Yale.
Yep.
And then Cal got in for him, and then he had 3 really good years, especially the third year at Cal, which got him to Indiana. I mean, it's not to say I'm not happy with Carson Beck, because obviously both of these quarterbacks have done excellent jobs this year. But yet, obviously with Mendoza, it's weird that the South Florida kid from Miami Columbus is doing what he's doing at IU.
And I'll give you a thing. He doesn't make mistakes, and they don't make mistakes. We're going to talk about this, I'm sure, about how they don't beat themselves. And just to give you a little snippet here, he's thrown 332 passes this year. 6 have been dropped by his receivers. That's it. 6. I mean, so talk about inaccurate, and his deep ball accuracy is just off the charts. It's incredible. So, Fernando Mendoza, he's smart. He doesn't make mistakes. He's poised. He doesn't seem to get rattled. And I know he's going to face a formidable defensive line. And the one thing I hear is, UM's got a decided advantage on both sides of the line. Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, they haven't faced a team this good either. So yeah, maybe it's a big challenge for Indiana, but it's an enormous challenge for UM. And I know they've made some mistakes. They've screwed up sometimes, but Indiana could. I mean, against Oregon in the first game, he threw a pick 6, and then they came right back. But people that say Indiana here, I'm going to defend Indiana. That's where I'm going with the whole thing. But people that say, they got here the easy way. They gave Oregon, an elite team, their only 2 losses. They beat a previously unbeaten Ohio State team, something UM knows all that well. It's not like they've done this the hard way. They could be the first team in history to go 16-0. That's never happened before, And I think they would be mentioned in the same breath as LSU in Burrow's senior season.
That's been the conversation, and I'm glad people are keeping it to 2019 LSU versus 2025 Indiana, because I don't want them to start bringing up the '01 Canes like that. To me, that is on a tier all its own. But I do see the 2019 LSU comparisons, and like you touched on something there, Frito, with Indiana. It's not just Mendoza who doesn't make mistakes. I mean, the entire team. I mean, they are so well prepared. It's a very, on average, very old team. But like you said, there's nothing wrong with it. Cignetti's doing, with his recruiting and transfer portal, it's all within the rules. Like the average age is 23 years old. And yeah, they play like grown men. And for that entire group, Frito, one thing I know backing Miami in this game is Indiana's not going to beat themselves. Like Miami has to beat them because Indiana will not self-destruct.
Let me give you two stats that back that up. The first game of the season, in the first quarter, Indiana lost a fumble. It's the only time they've done it all season. They lost the fumble in the first quarter of the first game, never again. And if Carson Beck's going to air it out, Indiana's defensive backs have made three pass interference penalties all season. That's it. That's it. They don't, again, another example of them not making mistakes.
We got one more left in the college football playoff. The Miami Hurricanes taking on the Indiana Hoosiers for the national championship game. And folks, FanDuel is giving all customers even more ways to get in on the action for the college football playoff. Because right now, every college football playoff game day, FanDuel users get a profit boost waiting for them in the app. Here's what I love about it. You get to use the profit boost on the bets you already feel good about. If you're a Miami fan, you're taking a shot on the underdog. Our Hurricanes are underdogs by 8.5 points. You feel that upset brewing, or you want to build a parlay around the players and the moments you think decide the game. If you think there's going to be a Keontae Scott interception, if you think Mark Fletcher's going to go over 100 yards, if you think Malachi Toney's going to score a touchdown, these are the types of moments you can build your parlays around. And then you apply the profit boost and go for even bigger winnings. And when you win, FanDuel pays out instantly, which is perfect for playoff football. FanDuel is the best place to get into the action for the championship game. So visit FanDuel.com to get your college football playoff profit boosts on every game day. That's this team's superpower, Indiana. And it's not to take anything away from, how well they play, their athleticism, but I think their big superpower is they don't give other teams any free opportunities. I also wanted to ask you, and again, this is uncharted territory for Indiana. You talked at the beginning about how, they were the losingest program all time. So like when you were in school at IU, was it just basketball or bust? Like, was football a big deal then?
Okay, well, I'm going to age myself. I'm going to sound like an antique because I'm so much older than you are. But I started at Indiana 45 years ago. Okay. The coach my freshman year was a guy named, what's his name? Lee Corso.
Oh, that was the Corso days. Yeah.
And yes, it was basketball then because Indiana was coming off a Holiday Bowl victory. That was Corso's claim to fame there against, I think, BYU. And but my freshman year in the spring of 1981, it was basketball because Indiana won the national championship that year. And I thought, oh my God, this is easy. Well, no, it's not. But it was still a basketball school. And if you told me even a couple of years ago, who's the next Indiana team that's going to win a title, of course I would say basketball, even with the mediocrity they've had under the Mike Woodson years, and thankfully he's gone. But I mean, football was an afterthought, and people say, oh, they've got all these bandwagon jumpers. Well, look, I never stopped cheering for Indiana. Did I watch every game? No, of course not. Why would you watch somebody, some team that just got, the daylights beat out of it every single time? And I can remember, I still barely heard Cignetti last year, his first year here, they beat UCLA. And I thought, beat UCLA at UCLA. That's not bad. Now they're 4-0. Who knows? I'm sure the end is near. And it never was. And he lost 2 games last year. The only 2 games they lost are to the teams that landed in the finals, Ohio State and Notre Dame. And so even as last year was unfolding, I was giving them, it's just an afterthought, but it's not. I mean, look what they've done. And can I ask your opinion? Can I turn the tables here?
Sure.
Each school was only given 20,000 tickets, but I still think Indiana, it's a very good chance they could have more fans in the stands than UM. We won't know until game time.
I mean, I agree with you. There's probably a more than likely chance for a couple major reasons. I mean, I see the way that Indiana traveled to the Peach Bowl, and I get it. It was like a lot farther away for Oregon to go, but Indiana just dominated that building. It was like 80-90% Indiana.
Absolutely.
Right? And I know I came to find out over the last 10 days that Indiana apparently has the largest living alumni base in the country.
800,000.
Yeah, that's another piece of evidence there. And I would have even I'm now leaning more towards it's going to be pretty close to 50-50, but like when the matchup was first cemented, my initial thought was like it's going to be a visible, very visible Indiana majority, but just kind of the anecdotal evidence I've had of the way the tickets have been bought up and stuff, I think it's going to be closer to 50-50. But like you said, it would not surprise me if IU has a slight majority in that building.
Well, even if it was 50-50, I consider that a victory for Indiana. I mean, we're going into UM's home stadium, and if you can equal that out and make it a level playing field, no pun intended, that's pretty good. I mean, I think that's a real good thing. So, maybe both teams have to go into silent counts. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's possible. It's more than possible. Frito, what's your prediction? I'd love to know for Monday night what you think is going to happen, and tell me why Miami wins the game. No, I'm kidding. Give me your prediction.
I still think I'm being a homer, but I think Indiana. I think again they don't beat themselves, and I probably just jinxed it big time by saying that. Now they're going to lose 10 fumbles and throw 10 interceptions. But they don't beat themselves. They just attack. I love their wide receivers. The running backs are a two-headed monster. Look, I mean, Miami has great offensive firepower as well. But I just think Indiana they're just a beast this year, and I just don't see them losing. Could they? Very well, absolutely, and it could be a close game. I'll bet. I'm going to say. And you're going to look at me like I'm nuts, but that's okay. Indiana by 2 touchdowns. They're going to cover the spread and cover it comfortably.
Hey, I mean, it is a big spread, so it's like, don't act like you're the only person picking Indiana to win big. A lot of people are. I've got Miami 23-20, but I understand Miami has to, and like you said, we'll see what happens at the line of scrimmage. I believe Miami has to control the line of scrimmage. I believe Miami has to establish a running game to win this football game. And, I don't expect Indiana to turn the football over a ton, and Miami's going to need to do that. It's going to need to be a net 0 turnover margin or Miami +1 to win the game. So, listen, I don't have to agree with your pick, but I respect it.
It's going to be a great game. And I'm thinking, Alex, of maybe I live in West Kendall, and there's a watch party, but all the way down in downtown Miami. I'm not going all the way there. But I thought maybe I'll go to the nearest sports bar with my IU shirt and just be public enemy number 1. Go right smack dab in the middle of as many UM fans as I can find. Huh?
Yeah. You may not be the only one in an IU shirt. Like I'm driving down US 1 yesterday, and I saw like somebody bought like an IU banner. It was like
really
hanging. Yeah. So it's like, man, I felt like pulling over and tearing it down, but I just kept driving.
Well, my wife got me an IU shirt. I've also got an IU banner for the holidays. So, part of me is superstitious. I mean, I've been sitting in the same part of the same love seat, with my wearing my shirt, having my banner. Do I want to jinx that and go someplace else? I don't know. I've got to think about that.
Go someplace else. I'm begging you to wear a different shirt. Do whatever you have to do to change your luck.
Well, I still can't believe that Indiana's here. That just boggles my mind that this happened. And it's incredible. There's no way anybody could have predicted this quick a turnaround or any turnaround at all for the hapless Indiana football team.
And I'll say this, I hope in a couple weeks' time, Curt Cignetti is coaching the Miami Dolphins.
No, they've already extended him twice. He's now making about $12 million a year, and they've got to extend him again. He's got to be one of the 3 or 4 highest paid coaches in the league in the nation. So we don't need to hold any bake sales for the guy. He's doing just fine.
Yeah, I saw, Penn State was looking to hire him, and that's when he got the latest
Mm-hmm.
extension. So, yeah, he's a hell of a coach. Well, I can't thank you enough. It's great connecting with Frito. It makes me
Absolutely.
miss the old Donno and Frito days on WQAM. We used to come at you in the middays, 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Frito, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't happy for you. I am, but I don't want to have to say that again late Monday night. I want to send you the condolence text, not the. And listen, if Indiana wins, I'm a man of honor. I will send you a congratulations text. I will do that, but I hope that's one I do not have to send.
Well, I hope you have to send it to me, and I'll send you one too if that's the case. So go Hoosiers.
Go Canes. I love it. Catch it. We got to do this again maybe after the game.
That's fine.
I love it. Frito, you remember him from our awesome days in radio. We'll talk to everyone again. Miami versus Indiana. We'll keep talking about it right here on the #1 Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.